So you see, me and my mom used to go to the same primary school. Well, we weren't classmates, of course, but when she did used to go to the primary school where I went to, which was probably like in the 80s. And keep in mind, this was around the time where Czechoslovakia was still communist, so everything was strict. Even the teachers, bro, back then it was on a whole another level. If you said today that you were transgender during communist times, you would be literally seen as a person who had a double-digit IQ. You would be literally seen as an idiot, like a genuine retard. That's how hard they were back then, but I mean, it was deserved. If you label yourself like this, but that's a topic for another video. And when my mom used to go to that primary school, she didn't like most of her teachers, but one stood out in particular. It was a teacher of Slovakian language. And you see, this teacher was a complete enthusiast when it came to Slovakian language. She was a complete master. Like literally you could give her any kind of sentence and she would write it grammatically correct 100% of the time. Sounds like a good teacher, right? Well, when you combine it with the screechy voice that she has. Yeah. But I mean, she is a nice person. It is just when it comes to the, like teaching and education system, it is not that good. But keep in mind, she is a very good person. When you actually get to talk to her, like, in private, while you're away from the education system, yeah. And you see, the grading system in Slovakian works like this. 1 is the best grade, and 5 is the worst grade that you can get. And in the Slovakian language, we say 5 as peťka, but you should say it grammatically correct as petorka. And so what this Slovakian teacher was doing was that she never said peťka like everyone else was doing in our school. She was saying it as petorka. And you see, every single time when my mom had her as a Slovakian teacher, my mom had another Slovakian teacher. But whenever she couldn't teach my mom, like, she was away, that enthusiastic Slovakian teacher had to come in to fill her place. And every time you could see her wiping her hands like a fly, saying to herself, "Oh yeah, we're gonna have a listening, and I put some really hard sentences for you guys. You better not get a petorka." And every single time when my mom heard the petorka, oh boy, she's still traumatized from it to this day. And fast forward 30 years into the future, when I was going to the same primary school, that same enthusiastic Slovakian teacher was still there, and she was now my head teacher. Oh boy. And you see, during the COVID pandemic, when we were having like online lessons, and during one of parents' meetup, like how from time to time, your teacher calls basically the parents of your entire class to come and talk. Yeah. And there was this one time during the COVID pandemic where this meeting was taking place. And as my mom was listening to her, and the Slovakian teacher was talking and talking and talking, eventually, she actually went through and she said, "Petorka." And I just looked at my mom, and the face that she made was absolutely priceless. Like, it was literally the funniest face I ever saw her make. Yeah. So then I thought, nice, I have a cool story to tell. And so eventually, when the COVID pandemic ended and we returned to school, finally, and I saw my classmates in real life for the first time in like 7 months, I wanted to tell this story to everyone because I finally had a great conversation opener with my classmates. I was so excited. And so one day, probably like 2 months in, I was talking to 3 of my other female classmates, and we were sitting in between like 2 desks. And somehow the topic of the conversation shifted to that enthusiastic Slovakian teacher, which was our head teacher. And I don't know what happened, but eventually I teased on the story of Petorka. And one of the female classmates, who was really pretty, not gonna lie, she asked me about it and she wanted to hear it. And I was like, this is my chance. This is my chance to finally make her laugh. Let's fucking go. Lock in. And so I went through, I told the story, and so I started the story by telling her about the parents' meeting that we had during the pandemic. And already I could see her driving her attention away from me. She was, slowly turning her head and looking on the other girls that were talking right next to us, and she truly wanted to join them in that conversation. But you see, she was a really nice person and she wanted to hear me out. But I could just see it on her that she had no interest at all of talking to me. So I did the tactic which I was doing back then. If someone wasn't paying attention to me, I started to talk faster because I was afraid of losing her attention. So I sped up, I started to make spelling mistakes, I started to say words that weren't true, and eventually, as I got to the end of the story, she just said, and she looked away. And it was like she didn't give a single fuck about me, even though I was sitting right next to her. Yeah. But I couldn't blame her, because back then I was a depressed and anxious 15-year-old kid. My mental health was shit, my physical health wasn't that great, I had no ambitions when it came to money and finding my purpose in life, and my social intelligence was just so fucking low. My storytelling skill was just awful. So who would want to talk to me? And yeah, sure, just because I wasn't good at, the health, wealth, and relationships category, that didn't mean that I wasn't good at other things. I was really good at history, I was really good at the universe, for example. I knew a lot about that. But those really weren't the conversation openers that other people would want to talk to about. But you see, that 15-year-old side of me saw only one side of the coin. He only acknowledged the part of me acting like a kid. So I thought about it, and I started to act more cold to the people around me. And it did work. People were more interested in me, but only for a shorter period of time. And so I wandered for 2 years until summer of 2023, when I started to learn about the 3 big desires of men and how to improve your value so that you act less like a needy kid and so that you actually finally get some self-respect and respect from people around you so that your social status actually goes up. But I was told that it wasn't gonna be an easy journey. But I didn't care at all. This right here was gonna change my life for the better. And now, I do still sometimes act like a kid when I talk to someone. I'm playful, I like to sing, I like to tell jokes, but most of the time, I don't really show the weak side of me. No, I'm now a fulfilled, happy man. And so in this video, we will go over the 3 big desires of men, which are health, wealth, and relationships. And I will tell you how you can improve in them so that you finally get some self-respect for yourself, so that your status as a man goes up, and so that you finally stop acting like a little kid and actually get some delayed gratification so that you're motivated the next time you have the opportunity to act like an adult, so that you quit being like a little kid who just chases instant dopamine hits, like from video games like Angry Birds and stuff like that. Yeah, your life is gonna be turned around. Okay, so the first big desire is health. And believe it or not, this is actually the most important, even more important than the money and relationships. Because when you have a shitty mental health, you cannot get anywhere, okay? So I highly suggest that you research topics on how you can overcome your trauma, your anxiety, your depression, your negative thinking. You need to start doing healthy habits like meditation, gratitude journaling, regular journaling, adventuring, exercising, and all of these good habits will eventually, and when I say eventually, I mean like a year from now, they will completely transform you into another being, a higher quality man, a superior man, if you want to call it like that. Okay? So I suggest that you watch long-form educational videos, read books, buy courses, or possibly even get a one-on-one mentorship coaching, if it is possible, if you have the money for it, on how you can improve your exercising and how you can improve your mental health. Because without both of these, you will have no confidence, and it wouldn't even matter if your social skills are a 10 out of 10. That woman that you're desiring, the 10 out of 10 quality wife, which will have children with you, won't want you if you're just gonna be, looking like a bowling ball. If you're gonna be built like a deep breath, you need to improve. But keep in mind, this is for the long term. You won't just do one gratitude journaling session and suddenly all of your negative thinking will go away. No, you have to compact it and you need to stay consistent on it for years. But like 1 year will do, and my positive thinking was already evolved like 6 months in. Okay? I already have so many videos on mental health, so I highly suggest that you should go check them out if you want. The second big desire is wealth. And of course, if you're broke, then you cannot do anything. Of course, you cannot go to the gym because you cannot afford it. You cannot go to the fancy restaurants, to that martial arts club. You cannot go anywhere. And so what you have to do is to find your purpose in life. Your purpose in life is an authentic activity. It is a natural skill that you got when you were born. It is something that when you do it, you're better at it than 99% of people around you. You could say that you were gifted to master it, because when you do it, even for the first time, it feels so easy to you, whilst everyone else is screaming their ass off, trying to figure out how to, memorize all of the accords of the ukulele. You get what I'm saying? Every man needs to have his purpose in life. Otherwise, you won't live a fulfilling existence. You won't value yourself enough, because you won't have this superpower on which you can rely on, even when you zone out. Even when you're sitting in class, I constantly think about my purpose, which is teaching my younger self on how to improve on self-improvement, even faster than he already did. And so, your purpose in life could be like learning another language and then teaching it to the younger version of yourself. It can be like learning jujitsu. I don't know. The examples are limitless. I already have many videos on purpose, but the way that you find it is that you isolate yourself from society, from the outside noise, and you have to look within. You have to analyze yourself while also cutting away all of the outside noise. And once you get a visualization on how your purpose in life looks like, my visualization was that I was teaching the younger version of myself and making YouTube videos like these for him on how he can improve faster on self-improvement. But not just teaching him through YouTube, but in real life also. And then once you have this superpower, this authentic fulfilling activity, then you have to align it to some kind of a business model. Like for example how I done it with YouTube. But for example, your purpose in life may not be aligned to the internet in the first place. Like for example, your purpose in life may be to become a neuroscientist. And so for that, you need to go to high school, for example, which will be completely fine. Because once you know this authentic activity that is fulfilling you, then you'll be way more fulfilled when you go to high school than if you didn't. And so, if your purpose in life is aligned to high school, then you have my complete blessing to go there. Even though I know we like to shit on the education system from time to time, I truly believe in you. Because in the end, I just want you to become the best version of yourself. Once you have financial, location, and time freedom, because you've invested into this business model, you've learned about it and you've mastered it over a period of 6 months, for example, and you started to make like $10,000 per month from it, then everyone around you will respect you. Because once you're making that much money, you can like retire your mom, for example, you can afford to go anywhere. And just think about the positive impact of you already having financial, location and time freedom at your age. Imagine how much respect from women you will have. They will quite literally be all over you. And that brings us to the last big desire, which is relationships. And simply put, the only way on how you can improve in relationships is to read books, watch long-form educational videos, buy courses, and one-on-one coaching if that's possible, if you do have the money, and just implement and practice. That's it. In relationships, you cannot just stay inside all day and just watch all of these videos. No, you need to actually go and implement it. It is not something that you just get good at in private, for example. No, you actually have to go outside. You have to cold and warm approach the people around you. That's the only way on how you can improve. Okay? So I highly suggest that you start reading books on masculinity and femininity, on psychology, on storytelling, on how to balance your inner child, for example. Basically just books about human nature, psychology, and communication in general. And so how will all of this help you not act like a man-child anymore? Well, my friend, when you stay dedicated to them and you constantly improving them, eventually you will break the dam and all of the delayed gratification will come flowing onto you. Just like that. Once in the future. I don't know when, but it will eventually happen if you stay dedicated. Like 6 months from now, you will start making $10,000 per month. 6 months from now, if you continue to cold approach women every single day, then eventually you will find the right one. And eventually, like 6 months from now, your attention span will be finally mended from all of the meditation sessions that you've been doing. And once you get the delayed gratification, you will never want to go back because of the self-respect that you will have by that point. And then everyone will be willing to listen to any kind of your story and they will laugh because they will be dedicated to your message. Not just because they will be, like yes people who will just want to benefit from you. No, they will actually be high quality people who will love to spend time with you because they authentically like you. They are not seeking anything from you, but your friendship. And plus, also by that point, your storytelling skill will be amazing. So that will also make you a better speaker. And if you're not willing to wait for these high quality men to come into your life, and if you already want to start spending time with them, and if you want to grow with them and be in a healthy competition with them, then you can join our Discord clan in the description. I know that you'll find your place in there, because if you're watching this video 17 minutes in, then I truly know that you're destined for success, and we will take good care of you. You have way more potential than you think you have. You can like the video, you can subscribe if you like, join the email list in the description and get yourself a free ebook. Comment on which part of the video you liked the most and which part of the video you will implement in your daily life. Don't forget to join the clan, you're still invited. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching this video, and remember, no one is better at being you.